Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Broadcasting around the world.
Well, hello.
This is your number one internet radio station.
TC Talks back on the air. 2 weeks of absence. I hope you've missed us. And 2 weeks away, Rich, and you've changed the camera position.
Yeah, they can see
My
you
fans can see me.
Yeah, it is. After how many months?
Yeah, it is actually TC Talks.
Not my months.
It was all a pre-record. The person that was sat there wasn't me. Niall's back with us. Good to see you now.
Yeah, good to be here again.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back, Rich.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm very well, mate. I'm very well indeed.
Yeah.
How are you? How you been?
Well, yeah, it's been a tough couple of weeks, and I just want to shout out to a few people on Facebook who know what's been going on for me. Mental health issues have hit me quite hard over the last fortnight. I'm on the mend. Don't listen to the verve. The drugs do work. I'm back on the mend. I'm running about 60%, but hopefully I'm going to make a full recovery in the next few weeks and months. So thanks for the support from everybody on Facebook, and for those of you that have rung me and called around the house and shown some support and love. We all appreciate it. Right, so we're going to get back to the normal thing tonight. We're going to get back to starting a show with an Irish tune, and I've always stayed away from Thin Lizzy. Don't know why. I think it's because it's the stereotypical thing to choose, but I'm going to go for a bit of Thin Lizzy to start the show. This is Waiting for an Alibi from 1978. Enjoy.
Valentino got a boogie shop, and what he takes he gives for what he's got. And what he's got, he says he has not stole from anyone. It's not that he don't tell the truth, or even that he misspent his youth. It's just he holds the proof, but you know something's wrong. Waiting for an alibi. Waiting for an alibi. Waiting for an alibi. Waiting for an alibi.
Nursery in Wakefield has been providing the highest standard of childcare for over 22 years. Situated on Eastmoor Road, we are close to the M1 and M62 motorway network and also convenient for Wakefield city centre, schools and major places of employment. For more details, check out our website at www.collegegrovenursery.co.uk or give us a call on 01924 200 120 to arrange a visit. College Grove, a special nursery which takes a hand, opens a mind and touches a heart.
Also sponsors of the Stanley Rangers under-13s rugby club, which we're very grateful for. Bit of Thin Lizzy there's that show. I like a bit of Thin Lizzy.
Yeah.
Underappreciated in my household for many years, but starting to get there. It's not how long it takes you to get there, as long as you get there. Right, so we're talking about feeling old tonight. Not being old. I think I need to make that clear, because being old is completely different than feeling old. Being old is, as you would imagine, your grandma, your granddad, they are old. There's no escaping that fact. They are old. Feeling old is a very different experience of life when you feel old. I've certainly been feeling old lately because of a couple of injuries, knee injury, shoulder injury, waking up feeling tired, feeling a bit down, and I just wanted to just have a chat about it and say, look, is this just me, or does anyone else feel old? Do you feel old, Rich?
I do sometimes, especially when you go to. I bumped into somebody the other day at Co-op in Aubrey, and I thought it was a woman who taught at one of the schools I used to look after, and I thought it was a sister. It's a daughter. I said, "Oh my God!" How old is she? She's nearly 18. She looked a lot older than 18, and I thought, "Oh my God!" You just think, I feel old.
It is. It's amazing, isn't it, when you meet people? So I want to know as well, then, because I mean, me and you, Rich, we're roughly the same age. Niall, do you feel old at times? Because you're only 20, so surely you can't feel old ever.
Well, I don't know really. I mean, being old, I think feeling old is probably more to do with responsibilities that you've got. It probably is what makes people feel old, because you get past an age. I think past the age of 16, you start to feel older, even if you aren't, because you have responsibilities and expectations. 16, I was getting a job at that point, working retail and working at Next, and just trying to meet the expectation of what being older meant. Yeah. And yeah, I mean,
expectations put on you by other people or put on you by yourself?
Other people. Yeah. I think yourself, you just want to be a kid for the rest of your life.
I think that's true, that, isn't it?
Yeah. I think if you weren't externally encouraged by everyone else, you just want to be a kid. Yeah. I'd still be stuck in playing Lego in my room for 6'1" with a full beard and a full head of hair, just playing Lego in the corner, not fussed about anything.
So what's stopping you from playing Lego in your bedroom?
Like I say, responsibilities. It's the need to be something. You need to be a cog in the world, and being a cog in the world requires a bit of awareness of, what you need to do that. So getting a job, earning money, feeding into the system in some way. That's the responsibility that you've got.
Do you think we get our young people to grow up too quickly?
Yeah.
We've just had a conversation, haven't we, about this tonight, about 18-year-old birthday party. Everyone down the pub all dressed, probably older than 18, looking older than 18, and doing a very adult thing, probably having a few drinks. And it's almost this pushing them into adulthood and pushing them into, you've got responsibilities now, like Niall just said.
I'll tell you what, we touched on this before, and without going into too much details, you find yourself, my daughter's 11, and I forget she's 11. And you remember the poem that you read?
Yeah.
I'd like you to send me that.
I'll send you, yeah.
And so we're telling Lily's mum as well, and I says, both need. I said, you need to listen to this poem, and it struck a massive chord with me, because you forget, you're trying to impose your views, your outlook, everything, onto a child. You know, hang on a minute, let them be a child. And I think we are guilty, especially now, this generation, expecting kids to grow up a lot quicker than they need to.
And I think it must. I grew up too quick for you know, and you're probably the same, Rich, because you had the similar experience to me in childhood with the loss of a parent. And you do grow up very quick when you lose a parent. You take on certain responsibilities. You take on certain roles that aren't. I think we've got to be clear about this. Nobody actually asks you to do this stuff. So nobody actually said to you, "You must get a job now." I would imagine they probably suggested that think about getting a job. But it's as children, we almost take it as, oh, we must do this. We must step into this adult world. And I suppose there's always that temptation when you get into that adult world, or when you're a child, the adult world looks far more attractive than it actually is.
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, Rich, I never saw my life turning out like this.
What, living the
and Niall's 20, and I'm sure you didn't expect it to turn out like this, did you?
No.
I'm sure you were expecting to sit in a big Lego chair.
And I'm the one here that's expected to try and keep changing it as well. I'm going to keep that forward trajectory.
We've
got to find.
We've got a couple of messages. Zoe's, I feel old at 25. I got the responsibility of a house, and I don't even feel old enough for that.
Oh, well,
Andy Walker, mortgages make you feel old. And then Zoe Snowden, I feel old when I mentioned the top TV show Highway to Heaven to one of the girls in work. She didn't have a clue and just responded, Zoe, just one thing to say, she pointed to herself. 1995, the year she was born. Oh,
Highway to Heaven had probably finished by then.
Ouch.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's one of those things, though, that we do forget that everyone's at different stages, aren't they? And for us, we throw people into this world of adulthood, and it looks glamorous from the outside. So Zoe just mentioned there buying a house. Buying a house sounds really exciting. But the reality of buying a house, and sorry to burst your bubble here, Zoe, but the reality of buying a house is very different to actually, thinking about it. That it almost feels like a big padlock shoved around your neck, with a big chain, and it's locked firmly and tight by the bank, and everyone else, and insurance people, and everyone else that's got a hand will stick it in your pocket, Zoe, and they will rifle you for every penny you've got.
Tip you upside down and shake
you out. And when you've got nothing left to give, they'll still ask for more. That's adulthood.
Tell you what. Oh no,
go on.
I was going to say it's off topic. Well, not off topic, but
Zoe said thanks, Tom.
Happy house move, Zoe. The doom and gloom modes. I told you I was feeling old.
And that was the house market section with Thomas Fitzsimons.
Next week we're talking about estate agents.
Oh, don't get me onto estate agents.
Right, I'll interject with a question, or at least something to think about. Do you think that aging from circumstance or from expectation is more deep set? Say from, you were just talking about earlier about losing a parent being a reason for age or growing up quickly. Do you think that has more of a deep set effect on aging rather than the expectation of being older?
I think for I can't speak for Rich, but for me, the expectation of stepping into adult. I lost my father. So I took it that I was the oldest man in the house now. And I'll make this clear, my mother never mentioned this. This was not something she encouraged. But I took it as an Irish thing, that it was the man thing to do. You step into that world of being the man of the house. And I stepped into this world freely of my own accord and didn't realise what I was stepping into. And it's only in recent years I've realised that doing that, if you step into adulthood through experiences that have happened to you rather than choice, you lose a part of your childhood, and you lose some emotional growth that you possibly needed to go through. So I talk on a video I've done that share a couple of times on with David Taylor. It's on Vimeo. It's called Ice Cream and Football. And I talk about the time I lost that part of my childhood. And in 2016, I had a major breakdown. And I actually went back to being 13. I went back to that behaviour. I was laying on the sofa. I was watching rubbish TV, probably Highway to Heaven, eating ice cream, cornflakes, and doing things that 13-year-olds do. So I think the danger is if you rush into adulthood from certain experiences. So say your parents get divorced, or somebody leaves, or you lose a parent, or families' finances are tough and they need you to go to work. If you're forced into adulthood too soon, I personally believe there's a long-term psychological effect, and it will affect your relationships going forward. It will reflect your outlook. I certainly am too old in my head for being 44. Mm-hmm. I feel like I've done too much. I've lived too much for a 44-year-old man. There's too much nonsense in my head that I've dealt with through the alcoholism, through the depression, through the relationship breakdowns, through having 4 kids, all the things that I've gone on. I feel too old for being 44. And I do think that's connected to being, I started 5 years too early. You know what I mean? I started 13 instead of 18. And I think it's important to point out to people out there who have got teenagers in the house, don't rush them. Enjoy them being teenagers in the house. Enjoy them leaving the rubbish around the house. Enjoy them being tetchy. And don't rush them into adulthood, because it's a long time. From 18 till you die, you're in adulthood. There isn't an awful lot of time to be a child. So what's the rush? Do you feel like you were rushed out of childhood?
No, I don't feel like I've been rushed out of childhood. I feel like I'm still in it, in some aspects. I feel like the newer thing now with our generation is that academia is something that is expected, a form of adulthood that no one really talks about, that is now legally part of our lives until we get the option to not have it anymore, which is 18.
Yeah.
And obviously before you could just not choose to do academia if you didn't want to. That's fine. But the way the world is now, the responsibilities that are on us are all to do with academia. There's kids that don't really want to. They're just not fussed. They just want to work. They just want to. They want to do something that they know logically they can just move forward with.
But the thing, I think there's pros and cons of that. But for me, not every child is going to be an academic. Not every child is going to be. School, for me personally, school just bored the pants off me. That environment, sat in a classroom, somebody sat there drawing. I was so disruptive, and they probably learnt more, the other kids in the class, when I wasn't there. Yeah. So I used to just get my mark, jump over a wall and go home.
I agree with that, but I do think it's a good thing that we're not forcing them into work early at 16. I do think that there's a time. I'm not saying anything about anyone who takes a job at 16 years of age. Fill your boots. Times are hard at the minute. You need to if you can get a job at 16, take it. But there seems to be a rush to get them into work. There seems to be a rush to push them to university. There seems to to push them to excel too soon. If a kid's not academic, give him those 2 years to find out what he wants to do. He can still study at school. He can do whatever he wants to do. Do a bit of woodwork or play snooker.
The one thing I do think's good that's come out of it is where they're offering apprenticeships where they can actually, vocational skills. I think that's a good opportunity. And the thing is, you can actually, even now, I still don't know. I've still not grown up. I keep reinventing myself. I've gone from spraying cars, decorating, working on cruise ships, setting up an IT company, setting up a radio station. I'm a positive person, and I think you can achieve things if you put your mind to it. You can do whatever you want to do. Speaking from experience, if I want to do something, I do it. But not everybody's like me, and my wife Marie constantly reminds me I'm very much. We were talking about when people have, depression, and, my dad went through all of that, and I did all the other things, arm around him, cajoling him, and then getting angry with him, and, but again, going back to being a child, I had to deal with a lot of things. Yeah. At the age of 8 and 9, and I was like a carer for my mum. I used to bath her, and going off on a little tangent, went out the other week, and Marie's friend and Julie's friend's a medium. And not a large, but she and Thanks now.
That's a dad joke.
Yeah,
I'm here all week.
I can see why he's always bought a house.
Get me out of here. And she mentioned something, and I'm really, really, really sceptical about all of this. Really am. You know, I think some of them are charlatans. I really do. My own opinion, by the way. And she mentioned something, and it completely threw me, and to the point where I choked up. I mean, I'm in the Shepherd's Arms. I had a couple of drinks, and we're having a bit of a giggle. There were band on, anyway. There were band on and everything, and she just said, "You need to come and see me." So yeah, okay, and I know she's a lovely woman, and she just said something about bathing your mum, and it took me back to a time where I didn't really want to be, if you know what I mean. Not at that precise moment, and I'd gone, and I had to go compose myself, you know, and it was just completely bonkers. But at an age of 8, 9-year-old, I shouldn't have had to do that.
No, and so that answers Niall's question, is that your experiences are probably moulded. So you're saying you're a go-getter, nothing can stop me, whatever I set my mind to. That comes from an 8-year-old who's been told, you've got to do stuff. There's no choice. You've got to do stuff. If you're told to do something, just got to do it. So that's the amateur psychology coming out there.
Yeah.
That it does. So experience definitely does make a difference in adulthood. And for certainly what I'm finding is if you're pushed out too soon, you do end up in a situation where we laugh and joke. I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up.
Me too.
You know what I mean? The old question we ask it the kids all the time, don't we? What do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to do now when you grow up?
Question.
I'm going to ask you. Come on. What do you want to do when you grow up?
What do I want to do when I grow up? Let me grow up first, and then I'll tell you.
That's the one.
That's
So when do you grow up?
I think you grow up when you realise that other people's expectations are futile of you. You can only do what you are able to, given the circumstances and given the abilities that you've got. I think jumping into a world that's been built by someone else for you is a bit of a bad move. I think everyone that attempts to jump into that world tends to fail quite a lot. You just see that. And
I think that's the danger of sending a child out too soon. So I ended up in the construction industry at 14 years of age and spent the next 25 years in construction. Yeah. Now I'm in a situation now at 44 years of age, having had 10 years away from it. The reality is it's all I know. So it's all I know is utilities. It's that industry. And when you're faced with a situation, well, look, you need to go back to work because self-employment's not working out for you. It's time to do something different. Well, I haven't got anything different. I know how to dig holes and lay cables. That's what we do. So it's one of those things that the danger of pushing a child out too soon, pushing them into the world of adulthood and saying, go out, and they do feel old far too quickly, and they get to a stage where they go, do you know what, I don't really know what I want to do, because I was never given the opportunity to think about it. Just went off and did it. And that, I think that's something that we will probably explore after the next song, do you think? Yeah, so right, we're going to have a break. We'll have another song, and we've chosen Unfinished Sympathy. See, I always get that wrong. I want to say symphony, but apparently it's sympathy. And this is Massive Attack from 1991. Enjoy it, guys.
2.
Massive Attack there. Takes you back to 1991.
What's the tune is that?
It's not too bad now. It's looking at this like 1991. What are you talking about? You old
We
git.
call that a jumping song because it just goes right over my head.
So it's more or less all 90s. No, the last one, a little bit of Ian Brown at the end, and that's 2000. So you were 4 when that came out. It's music. You see, music's one of those things that I listen to music. And I said that on my Facebook post earlier on today. I listen to music and think to myself, oh, it only just came out like a couple of years ago, that one. And then you look back, so Massive Attack came out in 1991. Yeah? You know, that's a long time ago. You know, 28 years ago that song came out. And it's like, I remember 1990, Italia 90, the World Cup. We've talked about this before. I remember that like it was yesterday. And then, so Niall was born in 97,
Go on, you're on the air now.
8. Nearly. Only 1 year out. That's a show there.
Yeah, you get a
I
t-shirt.
got a 1 year out t-shirt on Radio 2. See, if you were older now, you know about the 1 year out t-shirt on Radio 2.
Ken Bruce.
Ken Bruce, 10:30 every. Sorry, I'm not allowed to promote any other radio shows.
You do what you want.
Popmaster, my favorite quiz. But yeah, so 1988. So I'm judge people sometimes from Italia 90. Do you remember the Italia 90 World Cup? And Niall's 1998. So obviously you don't remember the Italia 90 World Cup. And it's one of those things that, you know, music, periods of political history, certain things that have happened, 9/11, all that sort of stuff. And, you know, you have to explain 9/11 to your kids, and you're thinking, how can they not remember? It was only like 2 years ago. Yeah. And then you go, hold on here. Yeah. And that's the trick of feeling old, is that you slip into this thing of thinking it was yesterday, and then you realise it's not. And there's one thing I want to ask. Is it okay to feel old? Do we have the right to feel old? Or do we do the usual, pick yourself up and get on with it, Tom? You're 44, not 64. Just get on with it. Because our parents probably had it tougher than us, and their parents had it tougher than us.
100%, yeah.
Do we all agree with that? Or what do you reckon, Al? Do you think your grandparents had it tougher?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they were in if I remember correctly, they were in a caravan in a field trying to make ends meet before they could even buy a house. So you don't hear many people.
Are you listening, Zoe? They lived in a caravan.
Yeah.
You don't know anything about poverty.
So, they were
Breadline, my ass.
Yeah.
trying to do what they could back then, and then eventually they bought a house and stuff, and it went from there. But I mean, my granddad was an intellectual, and he was quite a smart man. But they asked, there's an infamous thing I remember my mum telling me, that they asked him what he wanted to do, because he was a brainy man, and he went to the grammar school and he was at the top of his class. He knew all sorts. His maths was just, he could pinpoint anything, and he was, you know, a really smart person. But they asked him what he wanted to do with all this opportunity that he got, and he went, I can't do anything. I've got to go and work.
Yeah.
So the way that we promote academia now is, you have all these options and you can do anything you want. You can follow any path you want.
Yeah.
You've just got to know what you're doing. But we don't know what we're doing these days. Whereas back then, it was a case of, it doesn't matter if you know what you're doing. You can't.
Like, without sounding patronising, youth is wasted on the young, isn't it? Almost. You know, you've got so much going for you, but you just no clue really.
Well,
but I'm gonna throw something in there. Do you not think though that was easier for Niall's granddad, because there was no options? You've just got to go and work. You know, so I'm 44. I'm thinking about maybe I could have done something different, been a footballer or best goalkeeper in Wakefield, obviously. Been a footballer. I don't know, been a runner, but done whatever. You know, I don't know what else to do.
Right, but did you write a book?
I have written a book, yeah. So I've managed to do that.
It's available on Amazon.
Well, I told you about that.
What's it called?
It's not about the beard.
Oh.
It's on Amazon.
So I did it in the wrong order then. You should have said that, and then I said the Amazon thing. That's my bad.
Come on, guys.
We've had a couple of weeks off.
It's not our first rodeo, this, is it?
Mess up the plug here, my bad.
It's not our first rodeo. Come on. Yeah, so, but it must have been taking away that choice. So your granddad, by the time he gets to 44, he doesn't know what he's missed. Because he's just been told, you've just got to go and graft, son. That's your option. we almost took that option away from working class people, because he grew up in Charleston. Took that option away from people and go, no, you just go to graft. That's what you do. You go down the pit, or you work in the field, or you go to the mill. That's what you do. So in certain aspects, I believe it might have been easier to be an adult in those days.
I can believe that, because then the direction of that is you have one choice, and that's to provide, and that's all you can do, really. Whereas now, well, back then there wasn't even a thought of, oh, I could have been this, I could have been that. If people wanted to do something, they just did it. You know, like there wasn't. If someone expected you to do something, you did that, because it's all you could do. But nowadays, with us, with uni students across there, college students, kids that are growing up now, they have literally so many options. It's unbelievable. Enough opportunities to last a million years.
Do you think we've too many choices?
Yeah, I think we've got no direction. I think we've got that many paths, that many roads, that many places to be, but with no clear direction to go down. I think the only people that are going forward are the ones with, like you say, the ones that are grafting, because it's just money. You know, you can make money and do one thing, and that's it.
Zoe's Shackleton said, I think there's a lot more pressure on people to do well nowadays and have a good job. Society is completely different to now to what it was.
Yeah.
Completely.
I think with too much choice, you know what I mean?
I agree with that.
And I also think that leads to more unhappiness. So we've seen a rise in suicides over the last few months, certainly in this area. And it's something I want to talk about. Remember Johnny that was in a couple of weeks ago? Check out Johnny Wotton's Facebook page. He's trying to organise a dusk till dawn walk on the longest day, June 21st. So check out Johnny Wotton's. I'll give you more details on it next week. Right, in support of suicide charities. But I do think the rise of this unhappiness that we have in society must come from the fact that we have too many opportunities, too many choices, and when we don't hit that expectation, and certainly it's how I felt over the last few weeks and months, when you don't hit society's expectations, there's a big weight that lands on top of you, and it lands on your chest, and it squeezes everything out of you to the point where you do nothing. You know, with so many opportunities, why do so many people not do anything? It's probably because there's too many choices. You know, it's like going into a restaurant and the menu's full of stuff.
Yeah.
You end up just ordering pizza. You know what I mean? Because you just go, I don't know, it's overload. Whereas if you go into a posher restaurant and you just have 3 or 4 3 or 4 items on each part, it's a lot easier to order your food. And I think that's where we're going wrong when it comes to stepping into adulthood. Too many options, too many ways to go, too many expectations, too many pressures put on us to be financially successful, not happy. So, you know what I mean? I think that's, and we always come back to this, don't we? We always come back to the fact that we're focusing on financial instead of focusing on being happy. And I think your granddad, because all those options were taken away from him, your granddad was probably happy because he had a job. I've got a job.
Well, I'll tell you
And
what,
I've got respect because all the other guys are going down the pit with me or wherever I'm working. And I've got a job.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I think the expectations of financial success for us, and this is going to sound like I'm taking shots at older generations, I'm not. It's just from what I've seen. Those expectations are brought down by baby boomers and people that had to go through times where money was everything and money was the way forward. And I think that's passed down through lessons of actually, what were you thinking about being an artist or something creative or something you wanted to do? No. This is the plan. Make money, serve the system, and then try and do something different. But so many people get taught the advice about money from people who needed it in the context. But these days, there's so many more options, but we're getting taught lessons from earlier times. We're getting taught expectations from people who struggled in the 60s and 70s, people who are lecturing us from maybe even the 80s and 90s, who had different problems to us. We're getting taught different contextual problems in a generation that doesn't have the same problems. We have new ones now. We're more open, we're more honest. We're actually hitting things dead on and speaking about them. And they're out in the public now. We've got the internet. So everything is on display. The whole world is on display. There is nothing hidden. But we are still being taught lessons that don't make sense to us because they don't matter to us anymore. And I think that's one of the main issues of aging for us, is that we can't feel like we're aging when we're being taught the same lessons.
Yeah.
We're being taught the same preconceived ideas that we're not going to move forward, are we?
Well, they always say that the education system, if you took a lawyer, a lawyer, a banker, and a teacher, the only person that could do his job 100 years ago would be the teacher, because everything else has changed, and education has stayed the same. And I suppose, to a certain extent, to change the education system is an overhaul of all society. But you can see why people struggle with adulthood, and certainly for you guys coming through. Your ambitions are very different to. I mean, the adage for us was always hard work pays. Work hard, you'll get your rewards in life. Well, I know lots of people who have worked their fingers to the bone and have not got the rewards in life. And let me just make that clear. That is an absolute nonsense. If you work hard, you will get your rewards. I know lots of people who've grafted their backsides off and have ended up in a grave far too early, riddled with cancer, arthritis, all sorts of things. I think this generation finally get it. That it's not about hard work pays. Hard work can get you to a point where you can be happier. It's about being happy with what you're doing. It's choosing those artistic careers. It's being able to go out and do whatever you want to do and not worry about the financial reward. I think you guys are finally getting it. I think it'll actually be the generation below you that get it more. So Oliver and Orla, my children, your youngest one, will definitely get it more than we will. And hopefully they'll get to a point when they reach adulthood. It will not be about how much money they make. It'll be about how happy they can be, what difference they can make in their community, how they can support their brothers and sisters, and create a better world for people. Now, I'm getting all flower power here.
No.
I'm getting all hippie on this, but I honestly believe we've lost our way somewhere as adults. Sometimes I think that's why I get so depressed with it, because I got sucked into that. You've got to graft for money, you've got to graft for money, you've got to graft for money, you've got to graft for money. And then I thought, well, hold on here, it's not making me happy. I started off on the shovel, worked my way up through the ranks as a gangman and a site foreman and all that sort of stuff. I worked up to a project manager, and then got there and didn't like it. Didn't want to be there. That didn't make me happy, because I was forced into an industry at 14 years of age. And it goes back to that part of coaching these younger people to not choose a career. We've talked about this off air, and you tell us the story in a minute, but not choose your career at 12 or 13. Because who the hell knows what career you want to do when you're 12? Why are we teaching that to children? Sorry, go on, tell us about, you were telling us off air about going into, was it Girls' Eye you went into or something?
Yeah, I went to Wakefield Girls, and this is a few years ago, and it were all about vocational rather than academia, and there were a girl there, and the presuming, but a majority it's a private school. From a privileged background, it's fair to say. Yeah. And there was a girl there, and I was asking about role models, and one of them, whether it was tongue-in-cheek or not, she said about she'd like to be like Katie Price, Jordan, glamour model. And I said, and they're all giggling, and because we're only 14, 15-year-old girls, and I said, so why would you, what about Katie Price? Well, she's got loads of money, and she's got, and it were all about the financial. And I said, well, if that's what you want to aspire to, there's nothing wrong with that. And I said, I think it's okay not knowing at 15 what you want to do. I'm 47 and I still don't know what I want to do. Yeah. And I think it's okay to be able to, if you don't dip your toe in the water, you'll never find out how hot it is, will you? So you've got to give it a go. And if you don't find out, how do you know if you like something? If you don't, it's like food, isn't it? How do you know? I said this to my daughter, I don't like it. Have you tried it? Yeah. How do you know if you've not tried it? And I think we should encourage that for people to be able to. It's not for me, that. And it's, we talked, and this that all goes around like going back to recovery, or when, if you've got addiction problems, what lands for you? What actually lands for you? And I think that's the same for your job, your career, which you choose. We need people in the arts. We need people to be in literature. We need that.
Yeah, of course you do.
We need that. And my little one, she's 11. She went to the history museum, and she come back. She was buzzing. I love my history. I never liked it at school, but whatever happened is where we are now. And we talk about change.
Well,
we need to.
History is important because we get to look at how far we've come. Not the things that happened and how far back they were, but how far we've come from there. It sets us in its place right now, and that's the beauty of knowing age.
I think it's also important as parents, though, just on the note of certainly something I've been guilty of in the past, and I know many other parents are guilty of this, is when you're young, your child shows an interest in, say, science or maths or art, and the next time you're at a dinner party or you go and meet your friends and they go, oh, such and such is into art, and it becomes their identity. They're into this, and all of a sudden your entire life, you mould their life around them being into something. Well, let them be into it. Don't make it their career. Let them be into it. Yeah. Doesn't mean just because they like art doesn't mean they want to be an artist for a career. Just because they like music doesn't mean they want to play music as a career. It doesn't mean they want to be in a pop band. Just let them explore. I think the word for parenting is, and here I've been guilty of this 100%, is let your children explore what they want to do rather than directing them. Let them explore.
My Lily said to me the other day, and she's, do you want me to go to university? And I said, do you want to go to university? She said, I don't know. I said, well, that's all right. Doesn't matter.
How old is she?
11.
I didn't even know what university was at 11.
But she certainly gets the brains from her mum. But she's a bright little cookie. You know what I mean? But I said, you want to go to uni? You want to
explore it?
You want to travel? Do what you want to do. I will not live my life through you, Lily.
Yeah.
And I'll do everything I can that Noah, your mum, as well. I'll do everything I can. Be your own person and
sadly,
be what you want to be.
Too many people will do. So, sadly, too many people do live, and that's probably why some of them feel older because they're trying to live their life through somebody else. But anyway, we're going to have a break, another song, because I think that's quite appropriate for breaking free from your
it's
parents.
A good link is this, Tom? This is genius, Genius,
professional, mate. This is the Soup Dragons. I'm Free. Enjoy.
Right back. Listen to TT Talks live on Smile Radio.
Don't be afraid of your freedom. I'm free to do what I want any old time. I said I'm free to do what I want any old time. I say love me, hold me, love me, hold me, 'cause I'm free to do what I want any old time. I'm free to be who I choose any old time. I say love me, hold me, love me, hold me, 'cause I'm free. I say love me,
to 1990. Joe Blogg's jeans.
Oh, Joe Blogg, bloody hell. That's a blast, is that?
Joe Blogg's jeans.
Yeah.
Nice Adidas jeans trainers. And away we go. Yeah, there you go. So floppy hair curtains. Felt like yours now.
Aye.
There you go. The safe fashion comes back round. so at the start of the show I said about feeling old. And I'll be honest with you, I still feel old. I still feel that that burden of expectation that people have on you. But I think one thing I've got from tonight's show is that you've got to bring it back around to the basics of what humans want, and that's to be happy. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the upshot of the whole thing, is that you don't stop having fun because you grow old. You grow old because you stop having fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of those things that it's very important to remember that having a laugh, not taking yourself so serious. Doing this show, when I first started doing this show, I was somebody saying, "Well, you're not worried about having structure and this, that, and the other." And I said, "No, it's." I was laughing with Dan. Dan just mentioned tomato ketchup on the line. I reckon we could do a show on tomato ketchup. It's not that we're disrespecting the show. It's that we don't take ourselves too seriously. Yeah. We want to smile because it's Smile Radio. Mm-hmm. We want to have a laugh. We don't want it to be too sterile. We're not the BBC.
Nope.
We're not likely to ever be on the BBC anytime soon because we're not that way. We're not that stiff. And not everyone on BBC is stiff. I've some good friends on the BBC that are all right. So I've got to be careful.
That was like, all right, we see how it is.
Did you hear me backtracking then?
Beep,
backtracking, Tom.
Beep. Hang on,
but we're not that way, and I think it is important that you will start feeling old, and I've certainly started feeling old because of the amount of pressures of life, with the things that are going on at home. It's just got me down, and I think sometimes it's worth just saying to somebody that looks like they're just life's getting on top of them, to just have a word with them and just put your arm around them. Say, come on, what can we do? Can we go out for a coffee? Can we have a laugh? Can we have a bit of fun? Can you dance? Can you sing? You know what I mean? Do something that you wouldn't normally do. Make some Lego. Still got any Lego?
No, probably not. Well, Oliver's probably got it. I gave him most of my stuff.
Oliver's never into Lego that much,
Yeah, he's got my action figures though.
I loved his action figures. Did. But it's like, what? How old's too old to be playing with action figures?
Well, I mean, yeah. Tell you what you need to do. This is for all the listeners out there. My last bit of wisdom is do something small and relatively something that's not going to ruin your entire life. But something that your 12-year-old self, if he saw you doing it, if he or she saw you doing it, would smile and be like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Do something that they would appreciate. Your 12-year-old self, if they were like, yeah, that sound, I'd like the look of that. Just do it. Do it once. Like
a dab.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I think there's some things to avoid. That's one of them.
Gonna get me fidget spinner out when I go home. That was so last year, Dad.
Yeah.
There you go. Was it last year? 2 years ago?
I'd forget.
But it is. You're right. It's a great bit of wisdom now. It's, sometimes we forget as adults that we're allowed to have a bit of a laugh. We're allowed to have fun, and it doesn't always have to involve getting drunk.
No.
You know what I mean? We can just go out and have a laugh. And I like going out to football matches now. Amateur football matches. A mate of mine, Dave Sims, runs a team, North Gorber, and going out and supporting them and listening to the banter and listening to those lads. And if you ever want to laugh, go and stand at the side of an amateur football match and listen to the banter that goes on between those lads. And I miss that with some of that.
That's the thing I miss. I mean, I don't so much miss playing. I did enjoy playing, but I miss the banter and the crack afterwards in the changing room. And I mean, nothing is sacred as well. Yeah. And especially when couple, doing the walk of shame in the tenant changing room with the stuff they had on the night before.
It's a great place to be. A changing room and football. It was, and I think sometimes you do. Obviously, you have to hang up your boots sometimes. And I hung up my boots far too young, and took myself too seriously, and got too serious too young, and I've forgotten how to have a laugh, and maybe that's what I need to do.
I've got a question for you just before we sign off, Tom. What do you think would make you happy?
What would make me happy?
Not world peace or anything as
No. Finding a job that I would literally roll out of bed every morning and go, right, yeah, I want to do this. So I always see the fighter pilots, when they go on, those Red Arrows fighter pilots, and you think, I bet them guys spring out of bed every morning and go, I'm going to go and fly a $60 million plane. You know what I mean? I want a job like that where I can just spring out of bed and go, I want to make a difference in the world. And at the minute, I just don't have it. I don't have that drive to get up and do those things. I don't have that role to do things. So I think that's what would make me happy, is a job that I would, not need to set an alarm clock for. And I think that's a testament to.
I forget who was said it. There's lots of people have said it. If you do a job you love, it's not a job.
Yeah, never work a day in your own life.
Yeah, exactly.
Oscar Wilde, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think Well, yeah. I'm trying to wrap back in my brain somewhere where who said it, but yeah.
So
but it's true.
It is. Yeah,
it's
true. It's finding that job though. It's and because you step into the adult world too soon, you forget. But we're coming to the end of the show now. So final tune, and thanks again for listening. Hope you've enjoyed it. But the final tune I've chosen, I don't know how to pronounce this. I don't know if it's supposed to spell the letters out, F-E-A-R, by Ian Brown. But there's a reason I've chosen this. On this song, he mentions for everything a reason, and I think that's what makes people happy. If we can look at things in life and realise there's a reason why something's happening, that it's not just happening to you, it's happening for a reason, everything seems to be okay. So this is Fear, or F-E-A-R, for all the cool people. Ian Brown, enjoy. We'll catch you next week. We'll still be in Europe next week, no doubt. And just on that last Europe point, we need to do Brexit someday.
Yeah, we do. We'll do that.
All right, thanks, Nell.
Thanks for being here. Yeah.
Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, everybody. No, thanks, Tom. And don't forget, if you missed this show, any of the show, you can go to our website, www.smileradio.co, click on demand, and you can download the podcast from Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, and all the great podcasting sites. So we'll have a quick word from one of our sponsors, and we'll be right back with Ian Brown.
If you're looking for custom-made curtains and blinds, get yourself down to the Curtain Shop. Visit our showrooms at Kingsway Ossett or High Street, Normanton. For all your curtains, blinds and upholstery needs, go to the Curtain Shop. And if you mention Smile Radio, you'll qualify for free lining for all custom-made curtains. The Curtain Shop, Kingsway Ossett and High Street, Normanton. The Curtain Shop.
Your role, for every man a religion. Find everybody and rule everything and no more. Forget everything and remember, for everything a reason. Forgive everybody and remember, for each your own, for every man a religion. Face everybody and rule everything and no more. Forget everything and remember, free in excellence affects reality.